everybody, this is Shroud with the Frost and Fish channel, and we are here today to talk about the Inquisition, because nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition. This video is a shout out to BigMek Danskull, who wanted to hear more about the Inquisition, so I decided to put something together. The main source for a lot of this is 1d4chan, so shout out to that organization as well. I like a lot of the 40k wikis, particularly Lexicanum. In addition, the Warhammer 40k wiki itself. 1d4chan is a little looser. They include semi-canon, fan fiction, a bunch of other stuff, so it's a little bit more interesting to read, and they've got a bit of a sense of humor, so I like reading that as well. Okay, so there are 3 main divisions of the Inquisition, but they didn't start out that way. Originally, it was just Malleus. It was just demon hunting because that was what was concerned in the aftermath of the heresy. Then about the middle of the 32nd millennium, the Beast invades. The Beast is the largest orc to have ever existed, and its Waaagh is the largest Waaagh to have ever existed. They invaded the Sol system, they destroyed the Imperial Fists. They are horrible, horrible creatures and devastated the Imperium. In its aftermath, the Inquisition decided they needed a chamber specifically to deal with alien threats. So they created the Order of Xenos and its chamber militant, the Death Watch. In the middle of the 36th millennium, Goge Vandire, a High Lord of Terror, decides he's going to control the Ecclesiarchy as well as the Administratum, in effect becoming an anti-emperor. It sets off the biggest civil war since the Horus Heresy, and in the aftermath of that, the Inquisition says, okay, we need another chamber to deal with heretics. So they create Ordo Hereticus and its chamber militant, the Sisters of Battle. So you've got the Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus, but within each Inquisitor has a varied philosophy that they take in the pursuit of their inquisitorial duties. They're divided usually into Puritans and Radicals, and within each of those, there's a little bit more sections we're going to talk about. We'll start with Puritans and Amalothians. Amalothians are named for the conclave at Mount Amaloth. They basically believe that the Inquisition, the Imperium, is good as it is. We need to maintain the status quo, no strife, no factionalism, so we need to do everything we can to keep that from happening. We have monodominants. Monodominants are very much of the belief that if it's not pure human, it needs to go on the Barbie. So that includes Xenos, mutants, psychers, navigators, pariahs, even space marines and some of the more extreme Puritans. They think that anything that's not regular human is not okay. Then we've got Thorianism. So, like I mentioned earlier, there was the Age of Apostasy, which was created by Goge Vandire, and the big leader against that was Sebastian Thor, this iterant preacher. Thor was believed to have a spark of the Emperor inside him, and Thorians think that it's possible for people to have a spark of the Emperor and possibly serve as a vessel for his reincarnation. So they're always on the lookout for people that are spiritually in tune with the Emperor. They're not... there's a faction of radicals that take it to the extreme, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But they're always looking out for people that are holy enough to basically contain the Emperor's power. Now with radicals, the first group you've got are the Herusians. So I think we've talked about it by this point in one of the Shrouded Sundays, but no, we haven't actually. So... So, spoilers for down the road. Horus, when he was created, was not powerful enough to challenge the Emperor by himself. He needed to get more power. So he went through the same warp gate at the planet Moloch that the Emperor did to get his power, and basically gets Super Saiyaned up. Herusians believe that that same kind of power can reanimate the Emperor and bring him back to life. So getting a supercharged burst of chaos power is exactly what the Emperor needs. It's not really, but, you know, radicals are crazy, man. I don't know what to tell you. Then we've got Istvanism, named after, of course, the various massacres at Istvan 3 and 5. These Inquisitors think that the only way to maintain the Imperium is through strife and war. They think the Imperium needs more war. So they're always sowing conflict wherever they go to keep the conflict, to keep the war going and to have humanity rise above. You've got Congregationalism. These guys believe the Imperium is a tottering, decrepit structure and needs to be torn down and something needs to be rebuilt in its place. That's actually not an unreasonable thing to believe. However, they don't really know what needs to go in its place, and they fall to chaos really quickly. Because more often than not, chaos seeps into them and says, hey, you know what needs to go in place the Imperium? Chaos. So it's no good. But sadly, they're one of the few factions of Inquisitors that actually care about like regular people. They understand that the Imperium is more than just the institution. It's the people that are part of it. Then you've got Revivificationism. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is Historianism, who think that xenotech or any means necessary to reincarnate the Emperor is the way to go. So Eldar Soulstone technology, Dark Eldar homunculi, you know, whatever it takes to get the Emperor back, that's what we need to do. And it's a good idea, kind of, in theory, but because if you look at what happened to Unid and Guilliman, it kind of makes some sense. However, they usually try to like summon angels of the Imperium. It's just demonic incursions, man. I mean, it never works out. So again, much like with Congregationalists, a good idea, but bad in practice. You've got Xanathism, named after High Inquisitor Xanthus, who was executed in the 32nd millennium for heresy. The best way to fight chaos is with chaos. Use chaos weapons, use demon hosts, whatever it takes to fight chaos. That's the only way to defeat it. Artifacts, magic, whatever. So that's usually the most encountered form of radical. So there's also like subdivisions within these subdivisions. We're not going to get into it because they're never encountered in lore. What I've just listed off, you'll see a version of this Inquisitor in, you know, a Black Library book. For example, Bronislaw Shavak in Atlas Infernal by Rob Sanders is a revivificationist. Eisenhorn at the beginning of his career is an Amalothian, and at the end he's a Xanthite. So I only wanted to get into the ones that you will encounter. Hopefully this will answer some of you guys' questions, but if you have any more, please leave some in the comments below. Please like and share this video. As always, happy wargaming and stay frosty.